Hey guys, how are we doing? And welcome back to the yellow stripes syllabus. This time we're looking at the pad work. And for yellow stripes, that's the side kick. Here it is. Okay, so for the side kick for yellow stripes, we're looking for 3 different versions. We want to see a front leg side kick, a rear leg side kick, and a stepping in side kick, which we often refer to as the board breaking style. Now, obviously there's similarities between all 3, but there's also slight differences in how we go about it. Let's start with the front leg. Again, chambering the knee is so important. It's very common for beginners to make side kicks look like turning kicks by kicking across into position rather than driving the kick forward in a nice straight line. So we need that heel to travel straight forwards towards the target. So when we lift our knee, when we chamber our knee, we need to make sure that our heel is the center point in front of us, not our shin. If we end up with our shin in the center, then we're going to end up slightly kicking across into position like we do for a turning kick, for example. Now, we see this all the time with beginners. We really need to focus on getting this right. This is one of the fundamental basic kicks in Taekwondo, and it's a very, very powerful kick when done correctly. So when you do lift that knee, try and get that knee back towards your far shoulder. Whichever is going to be your back shoulder, you're lifting that knee towards that shoulder, and try to get your heel on the center line between you and the target. We need to make sure that our standing foot pivots into the correct position, so we're almost going to point it in the opposite direction to where you're kicking. There can be a slight inward angle about 15 degrees, same as when you do your L stance. This is going to allow you to line your body up correctly and help you not to lean your body out to the side. We don't want our body leaning out like an L position. We want our body leaning away behind the kick. Now, when you kick out, your far shoulder should still just be visible, so be careful not to rotate your shoulders too far and end up with your back slightly facing towards the kick, which becomes more like a back kick position, which you'll learn later on. Now, I know that often we want to kick a little bit higher. Beginners tend to rotate those shoulders a little bit to allow them to get that kick a little bit higher. Try not to do this. I know it hurts our pride sometimes if we don't kick as high as we'd like to, but focus on correctness first and the height will come later. So once you've got everything in the right position, you're going to extend that leg towards the pad. Again, trying to use that standing leg to drive yourself forward and drive your weight into the pad. Try and keep your weight balanced over that standing leg so that you can then step down into a nice guarding block afterwards and not just fall into position. Okay, so moving on to the back leg version of the side kick. A lot of what we've just said still applies, but it's a little bit harder now. We have to rotate a lot further into position. This means there's a lot more room for error in terms of overshooting on that chamber and ending up in the wrong position. So just try and get used to bringing that back leg round and your knee up towards your far shoulder and then maintaining that position for a second. So you're trying to chamber that knee quickly without falling off balance. Other than that, the same thing applies as the front leg. We want that knee coming up to that far shoulder, heel on the center line between you and the target, and then drive yourself forward, pulling those toes back on impact so that you're kicking with the top edge of your heel, which we refer to as the foot sword. Now, when we perform the third version of the side kick, the stepping in or board break version, the chamber is exactly the same. All we're doing now is we're adding more mass to the movement by stepping in. So it's very important in this that we do actually use our weight and we don't stop for too long in the middle. That kind of defeats the object. So we're going to start in an L stance position. We're going to step with our back leg behind the front foot. Now, this is really important because this allows us to keep our hips lined up properly. If we step in front of the front foot as we step forward, we end up squaring our hips up, which means we then have to rotate to the side again for the kick. That's going to slow it down massively. Our power's not traveling in a straight line then, and it becomes really inefficient. So we step behind that front foot. Ideally, you want to put your ball of the foot down first, and then as you chamber your kicking leg, you drop the standing leg heel, and that allows you to then drive your weight into the kick. From there, everything that we've just previously talked about applies. Toes back, toes down, kick through the center, try and get your heel or the top edge of your heel as the center point. So if you are breaking a board, which often you are with this particular style, then make sure your heel is in the center and try and step down into a nice tidy guarding block afterwards in L stance. Okay, that's it for the side kicks for your pad work for yellow stripe. Awesome job. See you in the next one.